With me now is the new mayor of Johnston, Joe Polisena Jr. His father passed the torch. Mayor, congratulations. This is your first trip in with us.
Thank you, Gene.
How's it going so far?
It's going very well.
Yeah.
Everything in Johnston, we're firing on all cylinders.
Do you enjoy your phone going off in the middle of the night, people texting you, people asking you for things?
I'm somewhat familiar with it
Yes.
because I was on the council for 4 years, but I really enjoy it.
What do they ask you for when the constituents call? My garbage, my pothole, my this, my that.
They do, but it's really important. You know, we get asked a lot for speed bumps.
Right.
Traffic mitigation is a huge concern. Stop signs, potholes. It's really quality of life issues, and that's what I'm trying to focus on.
Okay, when you drive around Johnston, do you see things that you don't like? That now that you're the mayor, you know, I want to change this. I don't like the way this looks. I don't know. Maybe you see a house that bothers you. The grass is not cut. The hasn't been painted. Things like that. What bothers you when you drive around your town, your hometown?
Yeah. So at the intersection of 5 and 6, Hartford and Atwood Avenue, I don't like the strip mall vibe over there. And Mike Greco recently bought the building next to Town Hall and doing some very nice renovations on that. But, you know, across the street, you know, there's some tough-looking properties.
So you see what I see sometimes when I come to Johnston.
Oh, absolutely.
It looks like a piñata was banged and everything fell out sometimes.
Absolutely, and we're trying our best to work on that with the property owners.
Well, what happened to zoning over there? I mean, it seems like it was a free-for-all. Not under your watch, not on, you know, maybe not under your father's watch, but what happened that you look out your mayor's window and you see just what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It is a little chaotic.
Yeah, that was the problem. It was the Wild West way back when,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, you know, we're stuck with the decisions of the past. Way too many curb cutouts on that area, and we're working very hard to mitigate that problem.
So if I say under your term, you want to make that better?
Correct.
You want to make the appeal of that part of Johnston?
Absolutely.
A little more pleasing to the eyes?
Yeah, it's the center of town, yeah.
Okay. All right, you made news this week. You're going to take the Columbus statue that was in Providence, and he was unceremoniously hoisted off his pedestal after he was vandalized, and he's been locked up in a warehouse for the past few years. Joe Polisena, the former mayor of Providence, bought it for $50,000. He's going to give it to you. Where are you putting it?
We're going to put it in Johnston Memorial Park on the island in the park.
Okay, now that's a little news, because in that park, is that a pond? I
Yes.
wouldn't call it a lake.
Yeah, it's a pond.
It's a pond, but in the middle there's an island?
Yes.
And that island is surrounded by water. It's a true island?
There's a small bridge.
Oh, there's a bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, but apart from that, it's an island.
Correct.
So you're going to put him on the island?
Correct.
And I could see him from the shore?
You'll be able to see him from Route 6, yeah.
All right. Now, the idea, I assume, is that you want to keep him safe.
Correct.
Will you take the bridge away? Maybe make a temporary bridge? Because you know the vandals are going to come looking.
Yeah, no, I think Johnston is a little bit different than Providence as far as its makeup and political views. I don't anticipate having the problems that Providence had, and I know it's a decision that's not going to please everybody, but I think it's going to please the overwhelming majority of my constituents in Johnston.
Well, I believe you're the second most Italian-American community in the country, after Fairfield, New Jersey, which I know is 20 miles outside of New York City. Then you. Why are you taking the statue? Because some may say, oh, you're taking trouble.
Yeah.
They're going to come and find it and aggravate you, especially around Columbus Day. What would you say?
Yeah, so I think Columbus is an important figure, not just for Italian Americans, but for everybody. I think his contributions with the Columbian Exchange were tremendous, and I understand he comes with controversy. But what my main focus is, I'm not going to judge people who lived 500 years ago based on modern times. And the example that I gave is Leif Erikson. So everyone knows Leif Erikson came
he beat
to
Columbus here. Yeah.
He did, and I don't think the Norse were known for being pacifists, and he came on his voyage with 2 Scottish slaves. So you pick and choose your battles. But I really think he's an important figure.
Speaking of picking and choosing your battles, the governor is pushing affordable housing for every community. Now, the mayor of North Providence, who preceded you on this program, said, I'm 99% developed. And he basically hinted to the governor, hey, don't tell me what to do. What would you tell the governor when he says, I want more affordable housing in every community across the board? What would you say?
I think he has to look at each individual community, the geographics of that community, because as the mayor said earlier, North Providence is different than Coventry, right? North Providence is developed, Coventry is not. And in Johnston, we're getting there, where we're running out of parcels of land. But I do think it's critical to build more houses. And what we're trying to focus on in Johnston is building single-family houses for people that are just starting out. They want to buy their first home. I think that's very important. I don't think in Johnston we can handle dense housing projects because we don't have the infrastructure for it with our roads.
By the way, you worked for the governor.
I did.
For a while.
I did.
All right, and now you're the mayor of Johnston. You succeeded your father. So as the mayor, as a Johnston person. That's your town.
Yes.
You would like to see what kind of developments? I would think I'd like to see the most beautiful homes built. I'd like people with money coming in to help you on your tax base. Now, we don't want to exclude anybody, but so square that for me.
Yeah, so I think single-family homes are key. I'm also open to a mix of restaurant retail with maybe some apartments on the top of that. We have some new developments in Johnston that do have condos, and I'm open to that. But again, he has to look at each and every community, and it can't be a one-size-fits-all.
All right, he also says he'd like every community to share the burden of the homeless, that perhaps you could take the homeless somewhere in Johnston. What would you tell him? You know, he's giving them to the Motel 6 in Warwick, and the mayor says, what am I going to do? I have no choice. What if he says to you, I need you to take some homeless. I want to open a shelter somewhere.
Yeah, I fundamentally disagree with that. There is a homeless problem across the state, and again, it's worse in some communities than others. And I do not think that each and every municipality should share the brunt for that. He needs to come up with a solution on the state level to fix the issue.
There's also a push to open perhaps a safe injection site. And we're going to do that. We're going to do it in Rhode Island. And every community has the option to say no to that. I assume Johnston would say no to that?
You'd be correct.
All right, and tell me just why.
Yeah, because I look at them as legal drug use sites, and I understand they're safe injection sites. That's the terminology for them. And listen, it's really critical to prevent the mass epidemic of overdoses that are happening, but I look at it as a way of condoning drug use. We need to look at more prevention and treatment, and not just have a hot zone where people can go and use drugs illegally.
Right. Every generation has a different view than the previous. What are you going to do differently than your father? Your father had some track record. Citizens Bank, Market Basket, even a hospital, and on and on. He has a list of accomplishments. But you're the next generation. The voters have entrusted you. You would say what?
I would say we're going to make a massive investment in our schools. We have a $215 million school project going on right now. We're going to construct a brand new centralized elementary school. We have 4 elementary schools now. They're all in between 80 and 100 years old. So that absolutely has to change. We're excited about that. And we're also going to be building a new high school. Johnston High School opened in 1968. It's had almost no renovations since.
Did you go there?
I did not. My father went there. He was the first class. He was 68 to 72.
Okay.
And it hasn't had any renovations since he left. So,
well, they have the inkwell in the desk?
Yeah.
All right. I didn't want to be, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Amazon.
Yes.
Which is a whole thing. You know, people are concerned about the traffic in that end of the town off 295. Are you convinced that that's going to be okay?
Yeah, I'm convinced it's going to be okay. I'm not going to lie to people and say that there's not going to be more traffic, but I think the benefits outweigh the traffic. We're going to get $145 million over a 20-year period, and we're using all of that money to put it back in our schools. And DOT is working on road improvements to Route 6 as part of that project, which are sorely needed anyway.
I just have 30 seconds, so just answer me yes or no. Your father was a conservative Democrat. Mayor Lombardi is a conservative Democrat. Are you okay if I call you that?
I'm a moderate Democrat. I have some conservative views, some liberal views.
Yeah.
I'm fiscally conservative, socially liberal.
Thanks for coming in. This is the new mayor of Johnston, Joe Polisena, Jr.